Welcome to the May 23rd, 2024 School Board meeting. Would you please join me for a moment of silence? Thank you. Will you join us for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Chadwick?
Hello. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item is approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or changes?
Yes. Madam Chair, I would like to add to the finance section 6 negotiations, allowing me to be the negotiator for the land on Silvish Road. And item 7 there to approve all budgets that we discussed tonight.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderford?
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon?
Yes.
Mr. Haley?
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick?
Yes.
Mr. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the previous meetings. It was laid out at your desk. It's the regular session, April 25th.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second by Mr. Underwood. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderford?
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon?
Yes.
Mr. Haley?
Yes.
Chadwick?
Yes.
Mr. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda is public comment on actionable items. Did anyone sign up? Can you? Thank you, Ms. Adams. Next item is recognitions.
Madam Chair, board members, I would like to recognize Knox Logan. Knox, would you come up here, please? And Miss Ernestine, would you come up, please? I want to give Knox this certificate. Knox is involved in showing cattle and meat goats in the Dickson County 4-H, the American Boer Goat Association, and the Tennessee Cattlemen's Association. He has received numerous regional titles with his goats and was the overall novice national champion in 2021. Knox educators in Dickson County. Miss Erica Logan is the principal at Centennial, and Mr. Stephen Logan is an educator at the Dickson County High School. And so, Knox, keep up the good work with 4-H and showing the cattle and goats. So thank you, Knox, for being here. That's all.
Next, we have curriculum and instruction.
School board members, what I would like to share with you is an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with David Lipscomb University, and it's a grow your own program similar to what we are doing with Austin Peay, but this is for counselors. And so we have the opportunity to have up to 5 candidates for this program. This program is not costing us any money. This is grant money that Lipscomb has received. And so we will be looking for candidates. Dr. Collins, do we have a candidate currently?
Not yet.
Not yet. So we will be looking for candidates that would like to be guidance counselors. And we would like to have this opportunity with Lipscomb. And so this is the memorandum of understanding that I would have to sign with the university. And again, it's similar to our Grow Your Own with Austin P, but that's a K-5 licensure and SPED endorsement with those candidates.
So this would be counselors that would sign basically kind of the same contract to work for us for 3 years, and we employ them for 3 years or something like that.
Yes,
In the field of guidance.
field of guidance.
Mr.
Yeah.
Haley?
Is it for students or for employees that want to progress to that? Or is it
It
both?
could be paraprofessionals, it could be teachers that are teaching currently within our system. So they already have to have a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
Mhm. But we do have parapros that have degrees.
It's good. Sounds like it opens up more opportunities and
It's a good
also what's
opportunity.
needed.
It is and free.
Yeah. What's needed.
Yes,
What's needed.
absolutely.
Do you have any other districts doing this?
I believe Sumner County, David Lipscomb had 4 other partners, other districts that were partnering with them on this grant. Lebanon Special, maybe.
I would make a motion we approve.
We have a motion to approve and a second by Mr. Chadwick. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderboort,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon.
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have Distance Learning Academy.
Yes, board members, in your packet, you have the current application for our Distance Learning Academy that is actually showing on our website. This school, we are re-imaging, and I spoke to you earlier in March about some of the ideas that I had as far as re-imaging the New Directions Academy, and I'm re-imaging the Dickson County Distance Learning. I wanted you to see what the application looked like. So if any of your constituents asked about it, I also included in your booklet a draft copy of all of the documents that we will be using, the handbooks. We've re-imaged those things. I appreciate Dr. Marvin, Dr. Phil, and Miss Jamie Hutchison for taking on this project. They have done a good job with this work. There are a few things that we are doing differently. These students that and parents that choose the distance learning as their educational piece, if they meet all requirements as seniors, they will get the opportunity to have commencement ceremony at the high schools that they're zoned to. And we're, when you read the handbook, you will see all of the things. We're going to bring the parents in, have an orientation. The difference, we're going to create a distance learning lab with the portable. So if students need supports face-to-face, they can come in. We will be doing that with our high school students in the library of the lower campus annex. And all of the students will come in and do our testing, district level testing, and they all come in for our state testing. So we're looking at that school a little bit different. Also, we have currently in the district around 1,482 students in some capacity that do online learning. And so what I would like to do is to send all of these families information about our distance learning school. We are moving from Edgenuity to Pearson. So the curriculum is changing. It's more robust. It offers more asynchronous and synchronous learning. That means a teacher, they can pull up online with the teacher, certified teacher, Tennessee teacher certified. So we're going to do some things to make that school even better. And so each of these families will receive information about our school. So that's just information I wanted you to have as we move from our handbooks from draft, where it is permanent, then I will give you a copy of that. If you have any questions, let me know. We will be working on our portfolios for each of you, where you will have all of the district initiatives and who is over those. So if you have specific questions, you'll see Dr. Marvin, Dr. Phil, you can reach out to them to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for addressing it. Seems like it was definitely needed based on what my recollection was of the scores.
Yes.
So,
Okay, next, under finance, we have monthly financial reports for all funds.
Board members, you're going to see that the first page is the summary of revenues and expenditures through April the 30th. You can see with revenues that we are up in percent this year, and expenditures, we're a little bit down, but not much. We're still in good standings. You can look at revenues with property taxes and sales taxes. We are in good standing there. And then with our expenditures, the utilities we're a little bit down in. Diesel fuel we're a little bit down in as well. And gasoline, you'll see we're a little bit up in that area. Please be reminded that we are still we have 3 months remaining, May, June, and July. And we will share those each month. Then our next pages, you will see the 141 fund financial statement. Then I show the 141 balance sheet summarized. You have a copy of the 142 summary financial statement with the 142 balance sheet summary. We also have that with the 143, the summary finance statement and the balance sheet summarized.
You have any questions about the financial statements?
Looking for a motion for approval at this point?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
second,
We have a motion to approve in a second, Mr. Vanderboard. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderhorst,
Yes.
Ms. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next document you will see is a proposal summary. We have discussed in some of our meetings, Ms. Frazier has discussed in the past about how hard it is to fill substitutes for teachers that are out. And so Ms. Hall and Ms. Linda met, looked at our numbers, and we have used express employment professionals in the past, and you see those on the document, the third column down. We are asking that we have approval to go with the Education Substitute Staffing Company out of Knoxville. You can see that what you make, this company deals with education only. And we think that that's going to be a benefit there. Their hourly rate, if you have a high school diploma, is $13.50. That's a 27.9% markup. If you look down the page, you can see that markup with each of the other companies that
The market.
Miss Linda. That markup would mean that there is an extra cost to the company for the work that they do. Miss Linda, can you explain just the extra cost involved in that?
Charge. We're gonna pay our people, say $13.50 an hour, but there are the costs from the company to manage all that they manage. So
Okay.
it's an upcharge
Okay.
to that, is what that is. And the bill rate there that you see is based on 7 hours for teachers and assistants, and then it would be based on 5.5 hours for school nutrition people, so the daily rate. But we went with 13.5 on the high school, 18.5 for anybody that's got an associate's degree or a 4-year degree, any type of degree. And then for teachers, we went to $25 an hour for certified teachers who still have their license. So hopefully that will be a draw that we could hopefully get more, a better fill rate.
The 27.9, that's up, so that's basically the low bid in this compared, okay.
The upcharge markup for ESS is 27.9%. You'll see Kelly Education at 29%, and EduStaff at 34%, and then Express at 35%, just for the high school diploma category. So
Gotcha.
yes.
Perfect, thank you.
And then as you look across the page, you'll see the ESS company. The $18.50 is if you had an associate's degree subbing, and then $25 is for certified. And then the $12 at the end is for school nutrition, if they are subbing in that area.
Mr. Chadwick, you have a question?
So the darker numbers, daily rate,
Yeah, that is correct. Yes,
Oh.
I had to read my notes. Yes.
about,
That is a full daily pay.
that's a lot. Good.
Any other questions?
Will they handle it like Express Employment has handled it and
That's my
get the subs and call the
understanding.
subs and?
Yes,
Yes.
it will work the same way as Express does. They will have someone who will be, assigned to our county. There will be training that will go on. They have a pretty extensive training for educators. And then the ability for people to sign up for it will work just like Express. And in fact, we use the same system that we're using with Express for the sign it up, assignment kind of deal. They use Frontline, and so will ESS use Frontline as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Haley?
So what kind of contract we're looking at, like a 3-year with the extension rights or,
This would be a 3-year contract.
and our current subs that are working through the other service, will there be a cost to them to transfer over to the new service? Will it cost the employees anything?
There will be a, campaign to sign those people up. So all they will have to do is just sign up with ESS. But they will do an extensive recruiting campaign to get those people who are currently in, and then also to recruit new people in as well.
Mr.
So, but
Underwood?
they're using the same front line, so they won't have to go through their background checks and everything, they'll be able to just move right in.
That is correct.
Yes, we're grandfathered in.
Right.
That's correct. And they won't have to have a new sign in or anything.
Sure. That's 27%.
And they're based out of Tennessee. And out of Knoxville specifically.
Your favorite town?
Includes all taxes, insurance. It's not 27% profit. Make that clear.
Sure.
Are you looking for a motion, madam?
Yes, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve ESS.
We have a motion to approve ESS in a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vandervoort,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have the fiscal year 25 budget approval.
Yes, Madam Chair, board members, I would like to call your attention to a few amendments on the general purpose school fund. It is the one that's in front of you that has the pink sheets inside. If I can direct your attention to page 2, line item 44170. There was an amendment there with miscellaneous refunds. We removed $238,800 to the line item on page 3, 48990, to show the United Way grant. That needed to be on its own separate line. So we moved money from 44170 to show a line item for the United Way grant. This year with United Way, we served 256 students after school, K through 4. The goal next year is around 350 students after school. So we're excited about that opportunity.
Was, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms.
was the money, it was in miscellaneous fund.
Mhm.
And we were spending it out of there, but we just needed its own line item.
Yes, and it's a reimbursement grant.
Before we get too far in, help me understand. I think we can, so the director can move inside of a
Line item.
category, right? Is that right?
Stipend.
Inside of an account.
Yes, the board
Mhm.
can make those amendments to move inside of the account. When we're moving from one account to another, then that also has to go to the county commission for
Okay.
approval. But in this document, what Dr. Sutherland is saying. It's the 141 budget. It's the same that you saw on May the 9th and have approved previously. The only change was that one particular line. We just had to move some money to account for it properly. But the budget that you're seeing tonight is the same one that you've already approved for 141. Just wanted to point that out to you and make sure that the board approves it again so that when it does go to the county commission, it'll be correct. Okay?
Thank you.
And that's all the change with the 141.
Do they need to be approved separately, or do you?
No, ma'am, you can approve them all together. I think would be the best way. It can be handled. I mean, I don't see any reason to approve them separately.
Okay. So the next category, you'll see federal funds, and these are the Perkins funds, title funds, and special education funds. You're going to see that there's going to be ESSER carryover, and we'll know when the books close what all that is, and we'll bring that back to you at a later date. Miss Linda, do you have anything to add to that?
So
142?
all that we're asking for approval at this time is the $4,540,979, because that is money that we know and is in the process of being programmed and so forth. We will come back to you later once we know about some ESSER. We've got some ESSER funds that'll be in a closeout stage and has to be finalized by December the 15th. But we will be coming back to you with those numbers once we know that. But these are numbers, as always, every year. We know the title numbers, the special ed numbers, and the Perkins number. Y'all approve those first, and then we come back with any kind of changes that it might be.
Then the third category to this page is the 143. You've already seen this, and you on May the 9th, there are no changes to the school nutrition budget.
Can I back up one more?
Yes.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Haley.
Back to the federal funds. I'm surprised you can get my head straight on this. The amended amount, these are federal funds that have come. I'll use, for example, 47,141 Title I money, where we budgeted 1.89 and we're amending to 2.2. That's because the federal grant money was increased for whatever reason. We've already received that, and it's been.
It's not that. It is carryover money. If we do not spend all of our funds that have been allotted to us, then we get to carry over those funds to the next year. So the difference there in like Title I funds is the additional that we got to carry over from the previous allocation. You know, federal works on a different fiscal year than we do. So it kind of gets that 3 months in there additional to what how our books close out. So, but it's just carryover money that we got to reprogram.
It's into September, right?
It's usually September, October. We have to have the books closed by the 1st of August so that they can go through all of that on the state level and then post those funds. But they're usually due for back reprogrammed by October the 1st, somewhere in that category, yeah.
You cleared me up. I recall that now. Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And then the last budget category for this group is the 177 fund, the $15 million that was moved from fund balance that we would need approval.
That's separate from the budget though, right? Because that would be immediately. Is that an immediate or is that?
It was an immediate, the other night when the county commission approved the resolution, it was an amendment to the 23-24 budget.
Okay.
So it is an immediate thing.
Thank you.
I got a question, and it shows it here. When we asked the county commissioner to move our money over, is that where it goes in the 177? Is that all that's there?
Not all. But with the amount of money that we're talking about here, this account is a much better way to track the money and to be very transparent in how it's being spent.
And I guess I asked that because I was wondering, like, so we asked when we got quotes and everything for Crickwood High School gymnasium that maybe they're tearing down right now. I don't know, but I know we got the quote and the price, and we got the county commission moved the money from our fund balance to our what?
We put it in the capital outlay line item of the budget,
Okay.
the 141 budget.
Okay.
We did not move it to the 177 fund.
Okay.
Whenever we built Burns Middle School,
Mm-hmm.
whenever we added on to White Bluff Elementary and to Stuart Burns Elementary, we had a 177 fund because of the magnitude of those projects. And it is just a much cleaner, easier way to track those funds. Also, it helps with the audit to make sure that all of the expenditures that are for those projects are accounted for separate and apart, and you can pull those really easy for the auditors to be able to review.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay?
Mr. Vanderbilt.
So, Ms. Fraser, so when there is an expenditure, how will it be reflected in 170? It will come back in another column just for explanation.
Yes, it'll look just like your
Sure.
other reports.
Right. It'll just show deduction.
It'll just have, how much we expended
Sure.
in whatever given time.
Right.
Every month, you'll see what has been paid out of that fund, but it will have just like any of the other funds.
Perfect. Thank you.
The other night is the county commission be kept up to date with the projects as we
Yes.
do it.
That's the
and
reason I'm
this is
asking.
a very easy way to do that.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve the proposed amendments as stated.
Mo-
Approving the budget, I'm sorry.
To fiscal year
Budget.
25.
I apologize.
budget.
I apologize. I amend my motion to approve the budget as stated. Sorry.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderbilt?
Yes.
Mr. Brogdon?
Yes.
Mr. Haley?
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick?
Yes.
Mr. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next item that we have is looking at the classified general purpose fund. And Miss Linda, I have to give kudos to Miss Linda and Mr. Troy Williams for looking at the nutrition budget. And we've been talking for several meetings about what can we do for our nutrition workers and trying to get them an increase in pay. And so after Miss Linda talking to Mr. Williams, looking at what we could do, we had 4 positions that were in the central kitchen that were already in the budget. We had not used those, so we took those out and we increased the line item with that money that we took out. And so we were able to, on the grade A, on a 10-month pay matrix for classified, now everyone is on the same matrix. And so you can see the grade 8, and it would give them around $1 increase for our school nutrition workers.
That's in the budget.
And that is in the 143 budget matrix.
All of our classified people on paper.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Williams and Ms. Frazier, for the work that you've done.
Have a motion to approve the matrix.
Approve.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go.
Go ahead.
I move.
Are the pay increases we did to the budget, are they on this matrix? Is this the matrix for this coming year?
Yes.
Thank you.
We have a motion to approve the school nutrition matrix. We have a second. Mr. Parker, any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderhort,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next packet you'll have before you in front, and you'll see that it has the green sheets, so you'll know that's the correct packet. We're going to look at the general purpose school funds amendments for 23-24, and I would like to draw your attention to specific line items. If you look on page 2, line item 44170, miscellaneous refund, you'll see over $1.8 million in that line category. That was a reimbursement from ESSER for buses. Line item 46510, that's TISA. And you can see that the budget, we had budgeted 49 million. We actually, there's a little increase. We keep getting, it's an unknown amount, but we keep getting amounts from the State Department. You can see that there's a little increase there that we have received. This has outcomes in it. And so do we expect to see more? Possibly.
Please,
But we want to keep you up to date with that money.
please keep accepting those calls.
We will. We will. We're not going to turn anything away. And these were from the April estimates. Miss Linda, do you have anything to add?
The original budget was from the April estimate. The amount that is in there for the amendments is what we will be receiving through the end of June. So we're in really good shape with our TISA money.
Question.
Mr. Haley?
On the outcome money, is it quarterly, semi-annually that they release that, or?
We got one in December, which was like 600 and something thousand. We got 2, I believe it was in January, that made a total of the outcomes being some over $700,000 that we received, that we really did not know we were going to receive it until we got it. Now, in the fiscal workshop that I attended back at the earlier in this month, there is discussion that it will only come one time a year, and that will be in December.
So I guess to enhance my question, do they judge that based on the outcomes for a year, or do they actually analyze that on a quarterly basis, or is there any rhyme or reason to how they judge it?
The outcomes are on prior year
Flag data.
because of all of the pieces and parts to that. It has to be based on prior year.
Good.
So outcomes will always be a year kind of in arrears. Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Also, if you would look at line item 46590, other state education funds, that line item, that's summer school. The summer school grant is in there. On page 3, line item 48990, again, we've pulled out the United Way grant to be on its own line item. Page 4, line item 711000449, textbooks. We had allocated over $1 million. You will see that we did not spend that. So we amended that amount and we did replacement cost and with that, but you'll see that the new amendment budget was $100,000. I believe that is all on page 17. Line item 7.
Before you get it,
Yes.
so we budgeted 1.5 million for textbooks.
Yes.
If I remember right, I thought we went up like that because it was math books, right? Ain't that what we were doing?
I believe so.
So we ended up only spending 100,000.
We actually used our ESSER funds to
Okay.
purchase those math books last year, so we didn't have to use our general purpose funds.
So, and I guess my question is, so $1.4 million, where did it go? Okay. And that's what I kind of thought, but I thought it, so we amend our budget down to what we spend.
And overages go to the fund
Possibly paying
balance.
simply so that we get a little better number
Mhm.
about where we're gonna end up at the end of the year.
So at the end of the year, no matter what, whatever was not spent goes to fund balance, right? Whether we admit this or not, this just kind of helps you keep up better, closer to time. Okay. Perfect.
On page 17, line item 72710-729, transportation equipment. That amount, buses put in revenue to off expenditures from the 141 that we discussed back in the first budget. And that reimbursement was from ESSER.
What line item is that?
The 729 at the bottom.
Yes, ma'am.
And then page 18, 189, 733-00189, that 565,000, that's bonuses from special grants. This money is in a reserve account. Revenue funds offset the additional cost here. So you see the total community services at a little over $1 million on line item 73300.
Yes, Mr. Parker.
So, and just to back up on page 17 on the 729. So we took 1.4 million here, put it in fund balance, and then we're taking $1 million out of fund balance and putting it on the 729.
We budgeted for the buses, 1.7, and that is that is going to be reimbursed by ESSER funds. And that number shows on page 2, where Dr. Sutherland talks about 44170, that included reimbursements for the buses from ESSER.
Okay.
So it's really offsetting
Okay.
revenue to the expenditures. But we have to show them as expenditure in the book.
Yes, ma'am.
But I also wanted to show the revenue that was gonna offset that. And it's been hard to get buses. So we've got several POs sitting out there waiting for buses to come in, and if that happens, then ESSER reimburses the general.
Perfect. Thank you.
On page,
Before,
oh,
before we
sorry.
get too far away from textbooks, I have a question. Ms. Adams, just how many textbooks do the elementary kids actually carry in a backpack? Is it all on computer now? Most of the things that they do?
We always buy print textbooks for elementary students. They also have access to online, access to pull up the the textbooks, and parents can do that as well. But no, I always recommend
Okay.
books in hand for elementary.
Well, I just knew that so much was on, they had computers, they carried their computer around. I just wondered how much was actually on there versus what, the reader and the speller and,
There are some materials that are online.
okay. All right, thank you.
That's what makes them strong, carrying them books home. Doing that backpack.
Throw that football further down the field and back that farther, more home runs. Yeah. I didn't, that's the safety.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Bailey.
I'm in no hurry, so I want to change to the next one. Let's go to 72,620, 399,
What page do you
16. And I tried to listen while you were explaining the buses. You may have mentioned this one too. Other contracted services went from 330 to 1.07.
And that is for various jobs that we had done. Part of that was the emergency situation that we had at Van Leer with with the boilers, and other contracted services that have come up through the years. There have been some things that have been amended, but this gets all of those. The Welcome Center is in here as well, so.
So like the water who were talking about doing those type of things, well, we have the money, we just put it into that and prove through the
And
year.
there was just some things that came up, any kind of storm damage
Okay.
that we would have had contracted services on, goes into that line item. While we may have gotten insurance to offset it, it still has to go in the expenditure line item.
Thank you. I have one more, if I can find it again. See some of the changes in some personnel pay from administrators, and I'm thinking that probably has to do where we changed some responsibilities at the mid-year with the interim director and then the new director, move some of those job titles around. That
There were a few adjustments like that in salary line items, and of course, whenever you do a salary, it also affects some other line items as well. But yes, sir, that's what a lot of that was, those adjustments were for. And then some of it was after the budget was finalized, and the final approval of the increases, calculating those, then it made for some adjustments in some line items. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Page 19, I would like to draw your attention to 73,400, the amended budget of $655,530. We added a special ed pre-K class And the grant paid $452,015 of that amount. You'll also see on this page the transfer out to Fund 177, that $15 million. That would be going out to the 177 fund. And then you'll notice that in the budget 2023-24, the 6 million, little over 6 million to reduce our deficit. We are now down to around 4 million. And in speaking with Miss Linda and looking at the sales taxes and the revenues and all the other taxes, I think we're going to be in good shape. And I think we're going to come out to the positive.
Is that saying that we're 4 million in the red
Yes.
right now?
It is.
But we got 3 more months worth of taxes that are gonna come in that
Right.
is gonna put us in the black, you feel like? Thank you.
From the additional that we've already, we're already about $600,000 in property taxes over budget. And we're, like almost $1 million over budget right now in, sales. So by the time we take in 3 more months at an average of 1.5 million a month, then I feel like we're very well going to come to the black, not be in the red. And not only that, but all of these expenditures, what are as approved as expenditures, we will not expend all of that amount in every single line item. So by the time it's all said and done, we'll be in the black.
Just from my own knowledge, we're in the currently, let's just say for instance, we don't make it to the black and we stay in the red. At that point, we'll take fund balance money to get back to zero.
Yes, sir, it will take the fund balance, it will take some of the fund balance. And there have been times years ago that happened, that we did end up in the negative and not the positive, but that's been a long time since that happened.
And anything that ends up over zero, fund balance.
That's the fund balance.
Perfect.
So your estimate right now, looking at this sheet, if we did stay in the hole, the 4 million, and then take the 15 million out, we still have we would have a fund balance of about 18 million.
Just to clear one thing, is it FUN or fun?
Fun.
It's fun. That's not fun. Like go have fun.
It ain't much fun, I tell you
Just
that.
making sure that, I mean, I don't know if I've been saying it wrong the whole time for the last 2 years. Fun. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, the next category is the 142. So the amendment here, you'll see line item 47401. That is the ESSER 3.0 in the 10 all core money of a little over 10 million. And then you'll see the total federal through the state amendment. The budget was over for almost 5 million, 5 million. And then the amended budget you'll see was 17 million. And then we had all ESSER funds we had to reprogram. And as Miss Linda had mentioned, the ESSER 3, we have a closeout in December of this year with that.
ESSER 3 is basically the last one too, isn't it?
It is.
Last big fund.
Yes.
Question on the closeout. You have to have the approval of what you're going to spend by the end of June and then expended by December. So we won't do any new approvals at that point, or can you still approve expenditures after July 1st?
You can approve expenditures through September 30th, and it has to be all liquidated by December 15th.
Almost 90 days. Thank you.
I think that was the last amendment for the 142 fund. Other question?
You've got the ins and outs, everything's
Yeah.
been reprogrammed and so forth. Then you've got the 143.
Did I miss that?
143 is no different than what you saw
Yes.
like earlier this time. And then the 177.
No changes there.
And 177, even though the county commission did approve that on Monday night, this amendment is to get it into our books now.
Thank you, Ms. Frazier. Any other questions on the amendments to the 23-24?
Most well-explained amendments I've had since I've been here. Thank you. Good work.
Great work.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve and a second, the 23-24 amendments. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderbilt,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess, please. Under the finance, number 6, negotiation.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, I would like to have permission to work with Mr. Hall to negotiate the property on Silvis Road with the county mayor and commissioners and authorize us to work on a contract.
Any questions?
Question.
Mr. Haley?
So from a timing standpoint, I don't think we'll meet again before that contract has to be executed. So would it be more prudent to discuss not just the authority to negotiate, but the authority to accept and execute?
Yeah.
Up to a certain amount of money?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the motion would be to effectuate, provide the director of schools ability to effectuate, negotiate, transact, a contract to include,
Transfer.
yes, to include, closing in order to, close on the property.
Right. Transfer.
Yes.
The county. Oh,
Not to exceed 2.5 million. Figure it. They down something the commissioner doesn't like. Right. Wasn't it?
Yes.
Give it
That's
2.4 and we'll see what we can do with that.
I would make the motion.
what is the market?
Sure. Mr. Underwood, a motion to allow the director of schools to the ability to effectuate the transfer of the property by signing all necessary documents up to $2.5 million. And that's the road, the property, the county property on Silvis Road.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
What line item are we pulling the funds out of?
177. All
I
right.
didn't know if we were gonna do it out of the fund balance, they had to go back and get approval.
It's already.
You know, get the funds from them to buy from them.
Mhm.
Any other discussion or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vandervoort,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Our next item, we discussed at our planning session, TriStar Bank writing a contract with Dickson Middle School in regards to a scoreboard.
Can you paint a picture of what the scoreboard looks like?
If you look in the packet,
You have a painted picture of a scoreboard?
it is going to look similar to this, but it will have TriStar Bank's name on the scoreboard. I think one of the things that was mentioned, the contract says for 10 years. It's in my number 4 within the contract.
And they just want their name on it. No.
And then all other advertisement would have to be placed within a 50-foot radius from the TriStar scoreboard.
Is that with a purchase of a new scoreboard? They're gonna buy the brand new?
They are.
And what's the cost of the brand new scoreboard?
It's a little over $7,000. $7,258.79.
And they're gonna give us how much money? No, just that they're gonna give nothing. And then Dickson Middle School they're gonna give us the scoreboard. And that's it?
Yes.
And Dickson Middle School can't advertise anything within 50 foot of it?
No, the bank can't advertise within 50 feet, but the contract calls for the provider of the sign that can sublet of advertising. So it would allow them to sublet advertising at their wishes within the advertising confines of the schools with certain age you can advertise, but they can still advertise.
Number 6, if I may, says any advertisements to be placed on the school board must be submitted to and approved by the DMS principal prior to being installed on the board so as to ensure the appropriateness of any advertisements. So it also have to be approved by the principal. Do we have a lot of folks stepping up and asking to buy school boards for us?
We have several new scoreboards. I don't know how they were purchased in the past.
Remember how,
I don't know if, that's typically a principal and one of the athletic directors at the schools. They typically, but in the past have done that for the school and that having those conversations. Mr. Holly, how did the scoreboard come about at Dickson County High School?
Football. Insurance.
See?
Insurance because it was damaged.
And storm. You know,
Baseball. Personal funded for someone. Softball, soccer, businesses at Dickson County High School. Softball.
Dickson Middle is its own. Our list we talk about. I think majority of that list is the a lot to do with the gymnasium over there, but it's on our list of things to fix. We also for our middle schools with a little bit of money for upgrades in athletic, and for $7,000, I would be happy for us to purchase the scoreboard for Dickson Middle School and let the principal and the football coach advertise on it as they wish for as long as they wish and not be put under a 10-year contract. Not be put under a contract at all. Let them do what they want.
but are we getting a lot of folks that are wanting to advertise on the school board? I mean, I don't know.
Have anybody that is advertising currently on any of our other school boards?
Yeah.
Anybody here from the athletic department?
Mr. Haley?
Schools still advertising for different sports. They put banners on the pins. I've bought them before, donated some that just the anonymous call, but want to support the organization. They're usually 1 year renewable. I paid $300 for a banner for 1 year, and I think that's their fundraiser, and I think we should stipend their fundraising. I think if we're going to start doing something when it becomes our business, when it becomes a contract, they can do something on a yearly basis with their wishes, whether I like the banners or not. Sometimes they start to look a little cluttered, in my opinion, but that's how they do their fundraising. But when it becomes a contract, it becomes the board's business. And I just echo, I do appreciate the donation being offered. It has nothing to do with anything other than the sheer business aspect, that it is a nice donation, but we are maintaining it in operating order for 10 years. If something breaks, we're fixing it. If the lights go out, we're fixing it. Or the advertising rights that can be sold off to someone else, collected by someone else. We're subletting a piece of property out. I think it's just a bad business deal. And I think that most anybody that would be for this could probably understand the bad business deal aspect of it. I think it's bad business for us to sell that right off. The sign, if we buy it, is going to be less than 7,200 because there's no sales tax if we buy it. And I don't know that we've been asked for a scoreboard, but we did donate 25,000 to the middle schools. They could have used that towards that sign. I understand talking to people that they probably could afford to buy the sign. So when it becomes an interest in them to have a sign, they can buy one and sell that space, or they can come to us and say, we don't have money. Can you buy us a sign? I surely hope part of this money that we just got approved this week will go towards improving that facility. And if down the road it becomes an interest to let a donor put a sign in, I'd rather see us do it. And I have no problem selling ad space back to the same donor, even maybe for a fair price compared to what they're offering. But I'd rather us own the sign and the rights to it if we're going to maintain and keep it up for a 10-year period.
I agree.
I just like the idea that we don't have to pay it's $6,500 or $7,000. We don't have to pay it. 50 feet is like from here, I'm guessing, to that officer back there. And what I've seen is, I mean, people advertise. Our firm has an advertisement over Burns Middle. It's nowhere close to the school board. People are still going to do that. They're still going to advertise because they're contributing to the school. I just see it as this, potentially around a $7,000 savings that we don't have to. That sure. They're doing it for a reason. We're doing it to advertise, but we're also driving a benefit. It's a savings. So I'm about saving money for the citizens of Dickson County. And I think that's what this does. So maybe the lone wolf.
Any other comments?
Make a motion to approve.
To approve school board donation? Do we have a second? And guys, there's no second.
The next item I would like to share with you, I brought on May 9th regarding the Charlotte Elementary School water heater. I would like to ask for approval for that work to move forward. I also added, Mr. Clifton added for us some of the information regarding who was asked, sent out information in regards to replacement, and you will see on the third sheet what companies and the contact that we made for this project.
Any questions?
So LG done a couple of boards, I think.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the Charlotte Elementary School water heater replacement and a second from Mr. Parker. Any other questions or discussion? Mr.
In
Tadwick?
conjunction with this, excuse me, could the board be notified when bids go out and as to who they're going or how they're advertised?
How we've advertised those?
Yes, sir, we can report that to the board. Of course, the advertisement's always gonna be in the paper for number one, and that has to be in the Tennessean.
Has to be in the Tennessean?
Yes, sir, because that's the general paper of circulation, and it goes to more homes or residents or businesses than any other. So there's a general circulation there. So, yes, sir, we can, Dr. Sutherland can let y'all know that.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderboard,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Our next item that I would like to share is under technology. I am asking for approval of a student data privacy consortium resource registry. Mr. Ben came to me to speak about this document is from the Sevier County Schools. It's an example of a privacy agreement that we can use when we are going out to bid or we purchase something like ClassLinks, something like Amplify, Renaissance Learning, but anything that has our student information. This is just a protocol that districts can take to work with companies that would help protect us. Is Mr. Ben here? Yes, Mr. Ben, do you kind of want to elaborate on kind of anything that I've left out?
Yeah, you covered it very well, but I mean, basically it's a national consortium. We also have states or counties in Tennessee participating, but there are different exhibits. Exhibit E is the general clause exhibit. So basically, if another school like Sevier signs Exhibit E, it's a general, what do they call it? Exhibit E is standard clause, otherwise known as a general offer of privacy terms. So basically, we could piggyback on other districts that have signed this agreement, send it off to ClassLink or XYZ company that we work with, and as long as they do Exhibit E, then we're good, we're covered, and basically there are clauses in there saying they're going to protect our student data. If we terminate any agreements with them, they will destroy any student data they have within X amount of days, that kind of thing. If it goes beyond Exhibit E, then that would be more of a discussion with the board.
Thank you.
See, Mr. Haley?
Question for Mr. Lewis. Why Sevier County? Is there a reason that we chose what they do over what another county does? Or
I just know Buster Thorne from the technology department, but yeah, we could use honestly, anybody in the nation. I just chose them because I know him through one of my professional organizations.
the reason I ask it was with the water heater thing. So when I see Sevier, I think about the bidding process and do some of the building stuff through Sevier County. So I thought it was something to do with water heater until you brought that up.
I got it. And part of that too is Mr. Flynn has taken the lead in Tennessee, because this is a newer thing for Tennessee. We're a little slower to adopt, whereas like California, New York, those kind of states, they're all over this consortium. So, and he's kind of taking the lead in Tennessee, so that's kind of what I think.
And Mr. Ben shared with me that Putnam County and McMinnville both have this agreement.
Greene County, White County, Maryville, and Wilson County also use this.
I assume the recommendation is to approve.
Yeah.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve.
Question.
Mr.
I
Haley?
had another question. Mr. Hall, if you had a chance to look through this, or do you have any input at this point?
I've reviewed it cursorily. Generally, I'm good with it. There are probably a few little nits that I'd want to clean up a little bit with respect to jurisdiction, and then talk to Mr. Lewis maybe about the standards that we've adopted versus while we went to international standards, say overlooked or something like that. But it's stuff we can take offline.
So will approval of this limit our ability to do adjustments for our own system? Will we be tied to just what the consortium does, or would you have the ability to adjust if you need to?
It's our contract, so we could adjust it as necessary.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderboard,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood. Yes. Mr. Parker.
Yes.
The motion carries. Next, we have Human Resource Report.
Board, I would like to share with you the Human Resource Report for May 2024. We have 2 retirements. Monica Earhart, speech language teacher at Oakmont Elementary, 35 years, and Miss Linda Frazier, Director of Finance at Central Office, 17 years. We want to thank both of them for their service. Thank you, Miss Linda.
Have any other comments about the HR report?
Is the tenure going to fall into that? Is it an appropriate time to address that? Is that maybe a different item?
We need to suspend the rules.
Okay, make a motion to suspend the rules to address the tenure.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules to discuss tenure in a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderboard,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood. Yes. Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited about this tenure. It's a big deal in the state of Tennessee. The individual names who I am going to call are listed on this document. They have a record of excellence as a teacher and have met all guidelines outlined in the Dickson County Board Policy 5.117 for recommendations of tenure. The criterion for tenure has a degree from an approved 4-year college or any career technical teacher who has the equivalent amount of training established and licensed by the State Board of Education, holds a valid teacher's license issued by the State Board of Education, has completed a probationary period of 5 school years and no less than 45 months within a last 7-month period, has received evaluations that demonstrate an overall performance effectiveness level of above expectations or significantly above expectations. So I would like to read the names of these teachers that will be receiving tenure. Morgan Boker, Landry Brewer, Casey Britton, Celeste Buchanan, Larissa Carter, Eleanor Christie, Philip Clark, Mandy Colston, Allison Curtis, Blake Jones, Molly Lane, Elizabeth Lee Haynes, Kayla Mann, Andrea Miller, Olivia Rett, Angela Schock, Brittany Smith, Josie Smith, Lisa Swaw, Melissa Webb, Alicia White, and Brett Wilson. Congratulations to all of them.
We have a motion to approve the tenure list.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Underwood, second by Mr. Haley. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderboard,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Move back to regular session.
Second.
Motion to return to regular session in a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderboard,
Yes.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Our next item are field trips. We do not have as many overnight, and Miss Allison Phelps did send you a file of all of the field trips that occurred in one day. If you look, the Creekwood High School coach, the sponsor, Mr. Chris Clapper, they actually went to regionals on May the 10th and the 11th in Chester County. I did call Chairman Brogdon to get permission for these students to stay overnight. We did not have a board meeting during that time, and that was given. Dickson Middle UCH year camp will be in June at Tennessee Tech University. William James UT Martin Girls Basketball Summer Camp, May 28th through the 30th, which is coming up next week. And so those are our field trips coming up for overnight.
Make a motion to approve?
A motion to approve the overnight field trips in a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderboer,
Yes?
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Tyler,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have director's report.
Well, I'm excited about this work, and I want to give a shout out to Mr. Holly and the work that he is doing with all of our schools, elementary, middle, and high. One of the things that we noticed was some inconsistency school by school of our discipline. And so Mr. Holly brought all of the principals in and invited several other directors like the special education department. And they worked a day on looking at what each school did for discipline around certain areas. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is have consistency. And so the elementary division has consistency with this is what you will see in their handbook moving forward, our middle schools and high schools. And Mr. Holly, I don't want to put you on the spot. That was great work and we appreciate that. Do you have anything to add to this?
The big key was just trying to be uniform, didn't want one principal to feel like they were too hard or too soft in a particular situation. So this way across the board, they'll all make the same decisions based on whatever discipline they're running into. So there'll always be gray areas, but when they make a decision, this is what they'll go by. So they'll all be consistent. If a kid went to Centennial and then transferred to Charlotte Elementary, it would be exactly the same. So that was the goal.
Just wanted to share that with you.
And would infractions transfer from one school to the other when they changed? Would infractions from one school to the other carry for the progressive part?
Yes. That's just some of the things we're working on. I appreciate your work on that, Mr. Holly. The second item I wanted to share with you are the board meeting and planning sessions. I was asked at our May 9th. Oh, you want to go back? I'm sorry.
So this is just up to 5th grade, correct?
K-5.
K-5.
And are we working on it for 512?
Your handout should be 6 through 8 as well as 9 through 12.
Right here.
Just saw the vape, the vape discipline, and I'm understanding that's working well. So, yes.
Yes.
Had 2 more hearings today.
Any other questions about the discipline plans?
I got a question about vandalism. Considering, is vandalism doesn't fall under something illegal, does it? I mean, vandalism is illegal, right? So is there a money amount of vandalism is that what this $500 is?
what you're showing here. So a major vandalism of over $500 would have to be reported to the sheriff's department or city.
It could be cited for felony vandalism.
Could or would be. Is it over $500? And then is it the law? So I guess is what I want to know. I'm trying to figure out. You said there's gray area, and in the past we haven't been consistent because of this gray area. So is there a law there that is if it's over $500, does it have to be reported as some type of crime? I guess. How does it work?
I'll take two parts. The gray area that I'm talking about is if you've got a kid that has never done anything, never got in trouble, you might look at them a little differently than you do someone that's done something 8 or 10 times. So that's the only gray area I'm talking about. I don't have it in front of me, but there's a certain minimum amount that is considered a felony.
That's what I was thinking.
And we started a long time ago. We're going to charge now.
Yeah. So with the issue that we had then at the high school, would that be over or under $500?
In all cases, we also ask the restitutions covered also. So
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Policy. Do we have a policy on that?
Oh.
It's just.
I thought we had, I just thought I read a policy on that.
We don't always follow it. Wow.
Don't ask me to quote it, but there's one there.
It's usually restitution in court.
I can find it. I thought we had, I thought I read one
I
on
don't
that.
know off the top of my head.
I don't know.
I would have to look at it.
You close.
after there's been decisions that kids know if they do blank, they will be charged. It's a no-brainer now. After a few years past and things that have happened, they're going to be charged. They're going to have to pay restitution.
Will they be charged even though they pay restitution? Okay.
We had to mention the phones be held or whatever it takes.
We do have a policy.
I thought I read one.
6.311.
Thank you.
Mr. Hall, that just mimics the statute, basically.
I think the criminal code felony vandalism, not $500, but it has to exceed 1,000.
Right.
But that's a long time ago when I had that class.
Only other thing to add, we try to preach that there's a big difference between law and school. So we're kind of talking about two separate things a little bit here. But as far as school's concerned, for $500, we're considering that major vandalism.
Any other questions on the discipline? So,
Okay. The next document that I would like to share with you, the board meeting and planning sessions, we added schools from our May 9th conversation. And so you have those. And I guess we would have to approve these.
The dates. Motion to approve.
we have a motion to approve the dates on the board meeting and planning session dates for 24-25. Second by Mr. Underwood. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Vanderbilt,
Yes.
Ms. Brightman,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Underwood.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yep.
The next item I would like to share with you, you're getting passed out the child care facility survey And I appreciate Miss Ernestine's work on that. But I would like to draw you to the United Way tutoring at a glance data before we talk about the child care. I wanted to show you this data with our kindergarten, first, second, and third graders that do after school tutoring. I had mentioned we have around 256 students currently being tutored at each of our elementary schools. We do run transportation. This is a grant where we actually pay tutors $75 an hour to tutor. We pay the bus drivers and we pay leads at schools to help with this grant. Currently, Miss Jamie Hutchison and Melissa Sutherland are overseeing this because this was part of my work before I stepped into my new position. But we're always looking at data, and Dr. Thiel put such a beautiful data spreadsheet together for all of the students that are participating. But you will see that the third grade Fast Bridge Fluency from each of our grade levels on the students that are participating. Then you'll see the second grade, third grade. Dr. Thiel, do you have anything to add with this data?
No days of tutoring, and I think that just speaks volumes to the good. Wanting to say after school that the work that our teachers are doing with them, that they're really involved with it, and that they like it, and that it's a positive experience. If it's snacks from the United Way, and they have little incentives where Dr. Sutherland, get some the movies, like all kinds of things with them. So the students really enjoy it. You can really see in their progress across the district. Each time it's like that stair step that's taken up and up and up and up with their fluency in reading. So it's really a good program that's totally free to the students. And if they have that bus transportation, they choose these teachers.
And we actually have teachers enjoying tutoring. And I'm just excited to get them to get to pay them professionally. That's exciting. We did take over 500 students. Miss Ernestine and I went to the Roxy to see how things were going, and we had over 100 parents participate in that field trip. It was great. The kids had a great time. They got a movie, a Coke, and a popcorn, and it was 10 Encore tutoring students and our United Way students. And the parents were so excited. We jumped over 70 parents participating from last year. So that's a great thing. So I wanted to share that with you. Great work that the teachers are doing. We currently have 37 tutors, 8 bus drivers. I can't thank Melissa Garten enough for the work that she does in getting those routes. Dr. Thiel, Melissa Sutherland, Jamie Hutchison, Stacy Ross here, just all the folks that are just helping make this program successful, and the students love it. I think I've shared this. I went on an observation with the State Department. We went to White Bluff Elementary, and we were set to go to White Bluff and then on to Charlotte Elementary. And a teacher has 3 students tutoring, 3 are eating their snack and doing homework. Then after 30 minutes, they swap, and then they get the individual attention for tutoring. Those students go to snack and homework. I left with the State Department. I got a message when I got home from the teacher, and she said, I wanted to share with you. The students said, why did they not stay and watch us? So I said, tell them we're going to be back. So they wanted to show what they were doing. And the students, their confidence level. And I think that when we show you the state data, intentionality of our programs are going to get us, I hope, to the 20th percentile in the state. So 20%, that's where what we want to shoot for. So thank you, Dr. Thiel, and I look for even more good work. As I alluded to earlier, we want to increase this number by 170 more students within this program. Are there any questions in regards to the United Way tutoring? We do surveys. I will share some of what the parents have said about this program in June. Okay. What I would like to share with you now is this document. Miss Ernestine sent out a questionnaire survey to our staff. And here are the questions. Do you have interest in the service for the next school year for childcare? You can see the yes and you can see the no on the pie chart there. Then we were looking at a place in Dickson, Burns, and White Bluff. And so a question was raised, what area would be most ideal if you should be open or need this assistance? And you see that 31 out of 39 staff that answered the survey thought that a Dickson location would be better for them. 29 at Burns and 16 White Bluff. And as I had shared with you, Miss Ernestine and I went out to White Bluff. We looked at that elementary. With some changes, we could put a child care facility, but we want to make sure that we're placing a service where the need is. And so we met with Miss Sue Stringfield, who is over that, and the state lady. We met at Stuart Burns Elementary School. I met them I said, I have an idea. Let's get radical. I want to go to Burns Middle School. And so I met the state lady at Burns Middle School. It would be a perfect location. They have the room. We could put a facility there. However, under conversations with Gerald, the facilities have to have their own restroom, and there is a faculty unisex bathroom that bumps up to the wall, but there's another faculty restroom just right across the hall. We would have to make a door in that wall. So I would have to have an engineer tell me that was okay. Burns Elementary currently would not have the room to support a child care facility. Miss Ernestine, we have been very busy. It's been busy over the last week. We had thought about possibly Oakmont Elementary School. We have not taken that off the plate. We just have not had the time to go out there, but we will, hopefully maybe next week. But I will give you that report. But I do know that there is a room that would be conducive at Burns Middle School. It does butt up to a restroom. The parents do not have to come to the entrance of the school. They could come to the side. There is room for a playground just for those students with a fence. We do know currently that we have teachers that are expecting in the Burns area, and we're thinking through retaining those teachers. That's a good incentive for teachers to stay if they can place their children in our school system facility. So I just wanted to give you an update on our work and where we are with that. So stay tuned. We will give you what we find out at Oakmont. Okay, in June. Questions for me? Thank you, Ms. Ernestine.
Thank you for your work.
One of the last things that I have to share with you is the update on the athletic funds. So I have that for you. You can look over it if you have questions. From our conversations with the county commission, one of the questions for me was, do they spend all of that money in a year's time? No, I do want the athletic departments to be good stewards of taxpayers' money. I just don't want them to be spending money to drain out an account. They do get to roll over those funds. You are seeing what they have spent money on, and I will continue to update you moving forward on all of that. Once you get your portfolio, you will see that Mr. Holly is over the athletics right now. He talks to athletic directors at each school and principals. So his name will be a part of who you can specifically reach out to and ask very detailed, specific questions moving forward. And then in the very back, you will see this is a draft copy of what we're working on. We've had, as I did a shout out to Dr. Marvin, Dr. Thiel, Jamie Hutchison, and Emily Murphy. I cannot leave her out. They have done the boots on the ground on this work. We did have our first think tank around this work, where several of us get together, look at it, and then we talk about what we see, what we would think we would add, and it was great. And we will make the adjustments from that conversation, and when it is out of draft form, you'll get another copy, okay? But that's where we are. We had our second think tank about NDA, and so stay tuned. That work will be moving very quickly because we know that we want to open that school for K-12. Just a few other things to share. Graduations were fabulous. Kudos to Dr. Duke and the work that he did at Dickson County High School, and Miss Polly Spencer at Creekwood High School. Great ceremonies. The rain held off for us, and we got to graduate students, and they got to go on their trips that they were worried about. Teacher recognitions and retirement gatherings. We went to 3 today, and we just want to celebrate with them and let them know how much we appreciate them. And I have to correct myself. We went to 4 parties, Miss Ernestine and Miss Linda. So we want to show them we appreciate them at this level, to just say thank you and give them that last hug. They've sacrificed half their life for their work. So I think showing gratitude needs to be what we do. So student recognitions, we've had lots of award gatherings at schools, parents in places from the high school all the way down to kindergarten. It's been fun and just a great celebration of a job well done from everyone. So I'm glad to be a part of it. So we're going to gear up to be a district on the rise for 24-25. And I would like you to approve for me flag football. We are meeting next week to discuss flag football for 6 through 12. The more kids I can get involved in school, the better our academics will be because they're vested. Even if it's sports that holds their interest, they'll do what it takes academically to be a part of that team. And so I'll be speaking with Miss Polly Spencer, Dr. Duke, the athletic directors to get this started for the 24-25 school year. Games will be played on Sunday afternoons. We will have to get coaches and pay them stipends, but I will next month share with you what that looks like. So please be thinking about flag football for Dickson County as a sport. Also, we are going to have gaming right now. TSSAA does not see gaming as a sport, but guess what? It's coming. And so we're going to open up competitive gaming as a club next year. That will entice kids that maybe do not want to put on pads or dribble a ball, but they're very good at gaming. And so we will have that for the year 24-25. So I will bring you those details in June as well. I do want to give a shout out to an anonymous donor, an educator who prefers her name not to be mentioned. I shared with you at a board member meeting that Oakmont does the Leader in Me, and that's Sean Covey's work. You're all familiar with Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Sean is his son who does 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens and the Leader in Me. This educator would like to give $500 scholarships to, I believe it's 3, I would have to look at it, 3 recipients, but they cannot have the money until they graduate high school. And I would like for you to just know that information. We do have private donors that give money for students to go to Washington. But I want you to be aware of the good community things that happen for our children. But this is an educator in our system that wants to do that. And so I wanted just to bring that to your attention. But they asked to be anonymous. So that's all I have tonight. But I want you to know it's been a great year. And I appreciate who you see here and who can't be with us tonight, the work that they're doing, the principals. We're doing interviews. I will name Miss Ernestine's position next week. Who is taking Miss Ernestine's position? So stay tuned.
Any questions for Dr. Sutherland? Next on the agenda, we have comments by DCEA.
It's not often that I get to say anything about the high schools, but they have done the marvelous first ever Dickson County Teacher Education Signing Day. Yes. Nikki Akins is at the high school here, and Ronnie Walton and Crinkle got together and came up with the idea. This has been a dream of Nikki's, and it finally came to fruition this week, a couple of weeks ago. Joey was there, was there, and they had 6 seniors from Dickson County High School, 5 seniors from Creekwood, who signed saying that they had a commitment to public education. Dr. Sutherland and the Dickson County Schools have guaranteed them a student teacher placement when they get through with there. That's awesome. I think the future's bright, and we do good things with that. And then the last one is mark your calendars for July the 24th. That's the next back to school bash. It's going to be at the government building library, right? Room B in the library at the government building on July the 24th. And it's blasted year. It's a good way to start the school year. That's when the businesses really come out and support the educators and teachers assistants and door prizes. it's just a blast. And then Terry Joyce, Linda, she will be taking over. The next member who will speak to you, unless y'all's hard. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. And Miss Rhonda was one of our retirees, and I got to go to her party at Burns, and it was a lovely party. Yes,
I'm not usually speechless, but I was kind of speechless that day.
it was very nice.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Comments by board members?
Well, congratulations to everybody retiring, Miss Linda. And whoever idea it was to go to Google, I want to shake her hand. That's the best thing. Getting rid of group wise, that's the best thing that this school system has ever done. So much better.
Look at him. Is that sarcasm?
No, I love the Google. No, I hate
I had to
Google.
click.
I hated that email. I'm so glad it's gone. That's all I got.
A lot of hard work that went into today's meeting, and I appreciate everyone's passion for that.
I appreciate the work that people have done on the diary schedules and especially the substitute schedule. I think that'll help a whole lot.
Yes.
My sincere apology to Miss Madden, Miss Frazier, Miss Adams for not being here tonight. That's what a slip memory does. I totally forgot. I apologize. Y'all's service to this community has been great, along with many other retirees and people that work every day. But I hope that doesn't go unrecognized. I appreciate each of you. It's pretty exciting to see the work that's going on with the Google email with Mr. Lewis, with the consistent disciplinary work that's going on with Mr. Holly, with the nutrition. But the work in CTE, I see Mr. Ray always has it in the back, but I see the CTE doing well, and I see the principals. What I see is a lot of excitement from a year that's been probably one of the biggest transition years that I've been around here, to watch so much unknown and fear turn into so much excitement and direction where everybody's involved. And from this view looking out, everything y'all do, and even the ones that are watching not here, the work is very obvious, and I certainly appreciate it. One last thing, the board has a job to do too, and I want to thank the county commission, not just the ones here, but all 12, for taking a leap of faith with this board and saying, we're going to give y'all the responsibility to do right with your money to put back into our system. And I think with all of us working together and pointing the right direction and looking for the future of this community, we can really have an opportunity to kind of turn some budgetary things and some communications around with our funding body. And I'm excited what we have coming up. So thank y'all, and thank you.
Thank everybody for their hard work, echoing what Mr. Haley said. I guess for the folks, the retirees that are here, just kind of institutions and pillars of this system. So thank you all again for everything you've done for the service, and it really can't be said. So you're going to be missed for sure. Beyond that, all the teachers and everyone try to have a good summer, enjoy it, take some time and enjoy a break.
Echo what they're saying. We appreciate the ones retiring. We can't, we're not going to be able to put somebody in that position that has all your experience. So we hope they will turn to you when they can to get advice. And we appreciate all the help, because you're going to keep getting phone calls. But we appreciate all the work you've done, and we appreciate all the work all the teachers, staff, administrative have done to get through this school year, because we know it's been tough, and we really appreciate it, because we are hearing positive things everywhere. So it's a good thing. We're going the right direction. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're adjourned.